A very good morning and wishing you a great Thursday ahead. Welcome to today's episode of Morning Wealth. Giant ship container gets stuck in Suez Canal. Powell's comments on inflation and growth and Tencent results. These are the things that we will talk about. US stocks closed lower Wednesday as investors continue to pull back from technology stocks that led the market higher for much of last year. All three major indexes closed in the negative territory after starting the day higher. As the session continued, losses among technology stocks widened, pulling down the Nasdaq Composite and the S&P 500. The Dow also tumbled in the red just before the closing bell. The Dow was down 0.1%, the S&P 500 was down 0.5%, while the Nasdaq was down 2%. In the bond market, the yield on the 10-year Treasury note fell for the fourth consecutive day, finishing at 1.61 from 1.63. The sharp increase in bond yield in recent weeks has taken the steam out of technology stocks, but the move down in yields on Wednesday did little to stabilize the sector. Apple fell about 2%, Netflix lost 2.7%, Amazon was also down 1.6%. Among the S&P 500's 11 sectors, energy outperformed. All other groups, Diamond Energy, ExxonMobil and Marathon Oil all gained more than 2%. Brent crude meanwhile rose 6% a barrel amid efforts to free a giant container ship stuck in the Suez Canal, blocking all traffic on one of the world's busiest shipping arteries. The Suez Canal is a vital trade route for tankers carrying oil and natural gas. Dozens of vehicles are already gridlocked, and a lengthy halt could further stretch supply chains that have already been disrupted by the coronavirus pandemic. Even a 2-day delay could further add to supply chain disruption, slowing the delivery of cargo to businesses across UK and Europe, are some of the comments that I'm reading. In Asia, stock benchmarks in Hong Kong and Japan led declines, both falling more than 2% by the close of trading. Hong Kong's Hang Seng entered correction territory with a drop of more than 10% from a recent peak in February. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell indicated Wednesday that he isn't concerned about a recent rise in long-term bond yields, saying they appear to reflect growing optimism about the economy's prospects. Quote, "It seems the rates have responded to news about vaccination and ultimately about growth," is what Mr. Powell said. He also added that has been an orderly process. Powell on Wednesday said that, quote, "would be concerned if it were not an orderly process or if conditions were to tighten to the point where they might threaten our recovery." But he reiterated the Fed's view that the recent increase has come from, quote, "extraordinary low levels back up towards a level that we are more likely to see." Moving on, Tencent reported Chief Executive Pony Ma emphasized his commitment to working with regulators amid heightened government scrutiny over China's powerful technology companies, as strong growth in mobile gaming and payments propelled the social media and entertainment giant to its most profitable year yet. China's top watchdogs have stepped up oversight of the country's most valuable company, scrutinizing everything from Tencent's insights into online behavior of 1 billion plus people to an investment portfolio that spans hundreds of startups. Regulators are said to be considering forcing Tencent to overhaul a promising fintech division, folding the operation into a holding company in much the same way they are demanding of Jack Ma's Ant Group. Meanwhile, on the results front, revenue at the world's biggest video game company reached about 482 billion yuan, or about $73 billion in 2020, a 28% increase compared to the previous year. Net profit was also up 71%. Net profit for the quarter ending in December nearly tripled to a record 59.3 billion after valuations of companies it invested in grew. Revenue also rose about 26%. Both beat analyst expectations. Tencent's mobile gaming business has flourished during the pandemic, with online gaming revenue increasing about 29% year over year. The company said its Honor of Kings was the top grossing mobile game globally for a second year in a row. Revenues from financial technology and businesses also grew about 29% last quarter, the company said, due to growth in commercial payments and wealth management services. In its financial report, Tencent said that its priority for its fintech business is risk management rather than scale, and that it would work very closely with regulators. Tencent's presence in the e-commerce industry has also grown. The company reported last quarter advertising revenue increased about 22% year over year, in part because of increased demand in e-commerce platforms and consumer goods. Annual transaction volume generated through WeChat's mini programs, which function as apps within the messaging app, more than doubled in 2020 compared with the previous year. So strong numbers by any measure, but the regulatory action is what we need to keep an eye out for. Sticking with China, the threat of Chinese stocks being kicked out of the US exchanges gained traction, with the SEC taking initial steps to implement a law passed at the end of Trump's administration. The rule forces accounting firms to let US regulators review the financial audits of overseas companies. The penalty for non-compliance is rejection from the NYSE or NASDAQ for any business that fails to comply for 3 years. China has long refused to let the US Public Accounting Oversight Board examine audits of firms whose shares trade in America, citing national security concerns. Lastly, I wanted to touch upon this analysis from Bloomberg, which I found interesting. China's stock market is showing the world what happens when central banks and governments start exiting pandemic-era stimulus. The CSI 300 index has lost about 15% since climbing to a 13-year high last month. A concern about tight monetary policy replaced optimism about the economic recovery. Central banks around the world are dealing with the aftermath of last year's multiple interest rate cuts and trillions of dollars in stimulus. Some, like the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank, have said that they'll stick to their loose policies for now. Others, being forced to act by inflation risk. Brazil last week became the first group of 20 nations to lift borrowing costs, with Turkey and Russia following suit. Norway is also turning more hawkish. Monetary policy has a big impact on liquidity, and hence that feeds into asset price performance as well. Something that we'll have to keep a close eye on as to how the central banks across the globe head towards normalization of their policies. That's the update. Stay safe and healthy, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.